Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for checking in with us. Chris McKinnon here with political analyst John Keller for our What a Week.
TGIF. Big time.
Seriously, this week, though, really, when we say what a week,
yeah.
I mean, this is a huge week for the Mueller investigation. I mean, you're talking about Cohen's guilty plea, Manafort's conviction on 8 of the 18 counts. What does this mean for the president right now?
And don't forget, just yesterday, the publisher of the National Enquirer, the unfortunately named David Pecker, a longtime crony of the president's, has now been immunized. So that's bad news. Look, you know, how many times have we seen this movie where someone's under siege, there's all sorts of speculation about corruption, and the prosecutors start flipping the friends surrounding the man. You know, now Cohen and Pecker. And the Manafort conviction is interesting because now sentencing will be in December. And so there's a period of months there where Manafort has to decide, is he going to start cooperating with Mueller, or is he just going to hang in there and hope for a pardon? And Manafort is the one who brought this wealth, if you can call it that, of connections with sketchy Russians and Russian oligarch cronies into play. So it's just very bad news, and I don't see the president handling it particularly well. If he pardons Manafort, there's going to be a storm in Congress. I won't say what kind of a storm, because even though this is online, we want to keep this a kind of family fare.
Absolutely.
Family accessible.
Yes.
But I think you know what I mean.
There's going to be a storm. I totally get what you mean, John.
A windstorm.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way.
A hurricane of sorts, or a tornado, right? Just staying on this for a couple seconds here. We talked about, you know, the possibility of pardoning Manafort, and they're saying that's probably, you know, what he's hopefully looking at, right? Yeah. But then you start thinking of this idea. You're starting to see states' attorneys generals, you know, thinking about maybe pressing charges on the state level, and then the president can't pardon. Do you think that will have any sway in how Manafort goes? Because he's got another trial coming up, too, on the other charges.
You know, I wish I could say, oh, yes, I can read the president's mind, you know. Clearly, he's been willing to play sort of fast and loose with the pardon power. I mean, that guy Dinesh D'Souza, I mean, he really didn't fit many of the conventional criteria, but as we know, this president likes to do unconventional things. I think a pardon is definitely a possibility of Manafort. I think it would have tremendous political consequences, although he clearly has the authority to do it.
Right.
Normally, also, you wait for there to be some kind of conviction. And as you mentioned, Manafort has, I believe, 2 more trials coming up there. You would wait for everything to get done, and then you come in with the pardon. But Sheriff Arpaio was pardoned before he was ever sentenced on his issues out there. So, I think that might be the next big story to break.
We're kind of in uncharted waters.
Very much so, Chris.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what keeps on going down the road. Back here at home, let's remind people we've got a primary election coming up. Yeah. This is an oddly timed primary.
I mean, do you even realize that it's a week from Tuesday, the primary election? I'm talking to our viewers here, but I think most people don't realize it. I think it's going to sneak up and catch people by surprise. And I think and the reason we're having it the day after Labor Day and so early in the month is that the other 2 dates that were under consideration, the traditional second Tuesday in September and the Tuesday after that, were conflict with Jewish holidays.
Right.
So the Secretary of State set it for September 4th. I think pretty much every major contested race hangs on how that impacts the electorate. Let's take a look at the Capuano-Presley race for Congress in the Democratic primary in the 7th District. Now, if it's A small turnout, let's stipulate it's probably going to be a small turnout. If it's a small turnout of sort of regular voters, older voters, voters who are have been well organized over the years to support the incumbent, Mike Capuano, Capuano should be fine, should be in good shape. However, if that small turnout is dominated by voters energized by Presley's sort of insurgent challenge, if she's done her ground-level work of identifying, targeting, and pulling out voters, and the Capuano vote is caught by surprise, then the opposite could occur. No way of knowing for sure. Tuesday night, the 4th, is going to be a fascinating night. And guess where people can tune in? Here's a pop quiz for you. What would be the best place for people to tune in to get all the results on primary night?
I wonder if
which station would you watch, Chris?
I mean, I would watch the Big Four, WBZ Channel 4.
Great answer. Great answer.
So we'll have all the election results broken down.
Early on TV 38, WBZ News at 8, and then, of course, at 11 o'clock, a full wrap-up.
This is thrown a little interesting into the Massachusetts primary season, which normally is kind of like a,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
We've got more seriously contested Democratic primaries than I've seen in many years, and that's sort of a sign of the times. You know, it's the baby boom generation that's been running the show around here starting to get a little stale.
Getting a little stale. All right, John Keller, you're going to be busy, and keep up the good work.
I'll try.
I know you've got your own little area. I feel like we need to put you in the Keller political analyst box or something.
Yeah, but was it really necessary for you guys to put that sign up that says, don't feed the political analyst? I mean, I don't bite, at least not my coworkers.
I'll sneak you some snacks when I can.
Sounds good.
All right, John, thank you very much.
Okay,
Appreciate it. And thanks for checking in with us. We'll see you next week.